to my show, episode 31 of Thoughts, Action, Success. Are you feeling like your fears are stopping you? In this episode, I will share with you 10 techniques to conquer your fears once and for all. Let me share with you this quote to get us started. I believe that anyone can conquer fear by doing the things he fears to do, provided he keeps doing them until he gets a record of successful experience behind him. That's from Eleanor Roosevelt. So everybody has their own fears. You may not even know that you are already facing some of them on a daily basis to some extent. So what exactly is fear? You surely have come across this term, but are you really sure about its true meaning? Let me share with you some things which you should know about fear, the reasons why you should face it, and the following steps which you can adhere to in order to, the biggest one of all, conquer it. So what should you know about fear? It's an undesirable emotion that you feel, or a thought which causes you great distress, and that this can then be referred to as fear. It can also be associated with any kind of feeling that you get whenever you're anxious that something terribly wrong might happen. Whenever a person feels fear, a fight or flight response is always initiated. So any type of fear begins with the trigger of a certain stimulus. This stimulus may be in the form of water, insects, or perhaps even a life-threatening situation. Let me share that fear will always be present in your life. There always will be something that will trigger an emotional response. This is aggravated, especially if you're always within your comfort zone. You have to reach out once in a while in order to achieve self-improvement. Wishing to be fearless in all aspects of life is totally unrealistic. Fear will always crop up in various aspects of your life, and when this happens, you must not be bound by those fears. You must learn to overcome them and not merely adapt to them. When it comes to your personal progress, harboring fears within yourself will deter your growth as a person. Although feeling fear is a part of human nature, enabling this feeling will in turn affect your ability to make rational decisions, and it may even affect your actions and habits. In most cases, individuals, including yourself, have a particular baseless fear lying within you. This then causes the destruction of your self-confidence and will directly influence your own personal growth and successes. Those who are living in fear usually misinterpret a particular situation in their life, which then results in the development of fear, which may be either real or totally fictitious. Those who continue to live with this type of sensation often feel insecure about their own personal being, are overly anxious, and are not aware of how to look at life with a positive point of view. These individuals are incapable of thinking logically and evidently. Because of these things, a person living in fear often limits their ability to progress in terms of their interpersonal and intrapersonal life. So let's look at the disadvantages of fear. The fear also has some advantages. It prevents people from doing certain things which they shouldn't do. However, if fear takes on your life to a greater extent, like influencing your ability to think and decide logically, the disadvantages associated with it are far greater. Being extremely fearful of something has some effect on your body. It can cause headaches, which can be very annoying, especially if you're a person who's always on the go and preoccupied with work. It may even cause stomach upsets. This particular side effect can be very unpleasant, especially if you're in a public place, or worse, if you're at a party or work function. Other physiological effects include shortness of breath, rapid heartbeat, and excessive breathing. On a different note, fears can also hinder you from reaching your goals. It can even be considered as a hindrance in forming lasting relationships. Fear of engaging in a serious commitment with someone that you truly care for is a great example of this. Lastly, it can hinder you from achieving the success in life which you've always dreamed about. Another great example to prove this point is the fear of failure. Individuals who have this fear and do not strive hard will end up becoming unsuccessful. While those who take the necessary steps to overcome this fear, coupled with the commitment, dedication, and hard work, are the ones that end up as successful people in their field of choice. These are just a few of the negative effects of being fearful. Fear limits your potentials. These potentials are vital to your own improvement and maturity in terms of your personality and your career. Why would you not want this to continue for the rest of your life, right? You have to act on it right now. So why should you conquer your fear? A person who does not fear anything is a rare gem, which I haven't come across and are very difficult to find. Most of us live our life with a certain kind of fear. This may come in the form of being afraid of heights, change, or even the feeling of rejection. Regardless of what your fears are, it's your choice if you want these fears to limit your ability to progress to your maximum potential as a person, or if you want to conquer your fears once and for all. Ultimately, the choice is yours. There are several reasons why you should face your fear. In the same manner, you will also get to enjoy several benefits in doing so. Once again, the decision is up to you. You can live with fear, or you can conquer it. It doesn't have to be fast. Slowly and surely is perfectly fine. Fear prevents you from living life. Do not let your fears choose your destiny. You may have encountered a situation wherein you have realized that because of your fears, you are unable to live your life fully. This predicament is not unusual. You're just one of the millions of individuals who are having that very same feeling. Fear can hinder you from reaching your full potential, and it's also one of the greatest obstacles whenever you desire to live a better life. Fear prevents you from breaking bad habits. Fear is a habit, so is self-pity, defeat, anxiety, despair, hopelessness, and resignation. You can eliminate all these negative habits with two simple resolves. I can and I will. Fear also prevents you from breaking bad habits, which may be a part of your lifestyle. Some examples include smoking, drinking excessively, and the good old poor diet. These are only a few of the causes of some of the most common health problems. But why do people continue to do these things, despite knowing all the negative effects? The answer is simple. It helps them feel numb, especially when they're faced with a great deal of stress and anxiety. The inability to face your fears, which causes stress and anxiety, will push you to gravitate towards these unhealthy habits which you are trying to get rid of. Fear prevents you from reaching your goals. A quote from Les Brown: too many of us are not living our dreams because we are living our fears instead. This feeling will also prevent you from reaching your goals in life. In some cases, the very thing that you want to achieve the most is associated with a particular fear that you are trying to avoid your entire life. For example, you have the talent and skills and dream of being a supervisor in your company, but you're too afraid of taking on the responsibilities that come along with it. This particular scenario, though very simple, is a great example of not being able to pursue your goals because of fear. Let me tell you, anybody can do it. There are 4 ways you can handle fear. You can go over it, under it, or around it. But if you are ever to put your fear behind you, you must walk straight through it. Once you put your fear behind you, leave it there. It's a quote from Donna Favors. This will probably be music to your ears. Anybody can overcome fear, even you. All you have to do is believe in yourself, find a wonderful support, like a coach, and commit that you will do it no matter what. Several of my clients have done it, and they're now living a happy life filled with contentment. Their potential to grow as a person is limitless. There are several things which you can do to help yourself and succeed in your objective, which is to conquer the things which you fear the most. You can become an inspiration to others. Each time we face our fear, we gain strength, courage, and confidence in the doing. Problems often seem a lot bigger, especially if you are the one going through it. This goes the same with fear. In many cases, individuals are living a life bounded by fear And they have overlooked the fact that their fears are already taking control of their lives, or even worse, they've already learned not to do anything about it because they have made a choice to live with their fears. These individuals tend to settle for a life which is filled with mediocrity. This is because they ignore their fears instead of conquering them. You can break free from this chain. Once you have taken steps and successfully conquered it, you will see the dramatic changes in your life. Furthermore, you will be able to inspire other people to face their fears too, because you are their living proof that anybody can do it. Become an inspiration to others and help them live their life without being bonded to their fears. So let's look at how you actually conquer your fears. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. It's a quote from Frank Herbert. Now that we've tackled some of the great reasons why you should face your fears, it's now time to learn some of the most efficient steps on how to face your fears. Don't let your fears control you or define your personality. You can reach your full potential if you follow the following tips that I'm about to share with you. Tip number 1. Bear in mind that everyone fears something. This quote from Dale Carnegie is, if you want to conquer fear, don't sit home and think about it. Go out and get busy. If you ask a person about what their fears are and they say they don't have any, they may either be joking around or simply just trying to hide it from you. We all have our own fears. You're not alone in this fight. So, what are some of the most common fears that we have? Fear of commitment. This fear is often common among males, but us females, we also experience it. At some point in your life, you may fear even the mere thought of committing yourself to something or to someone. For example, you're willing to commit your time and effort to your work, but you're afraid to commit yourself fully to someone romantically. This also goes the other way around. Some people prefer to commit to a serious relationship, but are scared to devote their efforts to starting a business adventure. Then there's the fear of rejection. This is probably one of the most common fears we encounter. This may come in the form of being scared to make a move, especially when it involves expressing your feelings towards somebody special, or merely approaching another person and starting a good old conversation. Nobody likes the feeling of being rejected, and this is one reason why often people just give up. They just totally stop even trying. Empowering this type of fear hinders a person from doing certain things. It prevents a person from talking to a person you're interested with. It stops you from sharing your opinions during group discussions. To just sum it up, the fear of rejection stops you from expressing your thoughts, feelings, and even asking for anything that you think is important, or perhaps you even deserve. Then there's the good old fear of failure. This is also at the top of the list when it comes to the most common fears expressed by us all. It's applicable not only to everyday individuals, but also to those that we perceive as being the successful people that we see. One factor which drastically affects your chance to achieve success is being scared of failure. Here's one question. What would you do if you needed to make several attempts to achieve your goals, but you are too scared to even try because of this particular fear? Think about what do you think will happen to you. A lot of people have this fear. Most of them are just going through the motions in their life because everybody else has surpassed this fear and they were able to progress in their lives. But those who live with this fear will remain stuck at one point in their life and will never be able to achieve whatever they desire the most just because they were afraid to fail, which then in turn causes them to not even try at all. Experts say that the fear of failure is developed by a person's subconscious in order to protect oneself from going through problems associated with failing. So that's just a few of the most common types of fear. There's a lot more on it. The list is almost endless. But in truth, fear is something that we always try to avoid. We often associate it with something terrible. Because of this, we turn to other enjoyable activities which will help us temporarily forget or even avoid our fears. This is where the problem starts. It is your choice when it comes to how you want to handle this situation, but the first thing which you always have to remember towards the path of conquering your fear is that you are not the only one who has fears. Someone else shares exactly the same struggle that you have. Having this kind of understanding will help you not only feel not so alone on this journey. However, it's up to you to make a choice. Try to find someone who you can talk to about your fears. This same person may have shared the same feeling, and who knows, they might have found a way to overcome it, which they'll gladly share with you. Recognize your fear. One of the worst things that can happen in your life is to immobilize yourself towards self-growth because of your fears. Everybody will come to face this challenge at one point in our lives. Fear can prevent you from making rational decisions. You can do something about it though. You don't have to feel that way towards your fears. Recognizing all of your fears is the first step to conquering it and starts your journey towards self-improvement. Recognition will help you deal with this unpleasant situation. Among the reasons why you're unable to successfully face your fears is the unwillingness to look at it closely. You will fail to fully recognize the factors which create and fuel your fear because of the sensations associated with it. Some may think that examining it closely will intensify this agonizing feeling. If you take a look at them closely, you will be able to deal with them appropriately. So the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what exactly are you afraid of and why? You can also determine the source of your fear by evaluating yourself and even by seeking the help of a professional. You do have to devote some time though to this, but you will find the answer that you are looking for along the way. Then you need to make a decision. Once you've identified and examined your fears, you now have to decide. You have to make a decision with regards to what you want to do with your fears. You basically have two choices: deal with it or ignore it. Of course, choosing to conquer your fears will help you reach your full potential and achieve your goals. When you have identified this goal, you need to commit yourself into doing it. This may seem very simple, but a lot of individuals are having a hard time fully committing to it, which causes them to fall back into their old fearful self. When you make a decision, you have to act on it. The most common problem is that individuals simply think about it. Sometimes they give up at the first sight of any problems. So avoid thinking of what might happen in the future. Deal with sticking to your decision first. Commit yourself, and you will reap the fruits of your labor in the future. Remember, the only person that can let you down is ultimately yourself. Yes, you. Remember, the only person that you need to go through it and prepare yourself as to the bad and good things that may happen along the way. Think of it as something you really want and strive to achieve it. Then you need to take one step at a time. Do the thing you fear to do and keep on doing it. That is the quickest and surest way yet that we've all discovered to conquer fear. So facing your fears doesn't necessarily mean that you have to start with a humongous grand gesture. You can actually just take it really slowly. Since you already know what your fears are, you can break it down into those small manageable pieces, just like you would with any other goal. Though you always have to take note of your long-term goals, it will be a lot easier to achieve it if you deal with it in those manageable portions. Deal with the first step, focus on that. Once you're done, then move on to the next, and next. Consider your fears as growth opportunities. Confront your fears, list them, get to know them, and only then will you be able to put them aside and move ahead. When you have lived half your life, would you like to look back at your memories and keep on wondering what might have happened or been? Do you want to feel regretful, thinking that you could have done a lot better in life if you just faced your fears? Do you not want to wait too long before you realize that you should conquer your fears? One great technique to help you out in overcoming your fears is by taking those unpleasant feelings as opportunities for you to grow as a person. If you look at it that way, you're likely to explore some of the great benefits associated with it. Begin this by creating a list of the benefits which you can have if you face your fears. This will provide you with a quick look of the great opportunities that you surely don't want to miss out on. Include in your list the possible outcomes if you face your fears. Imagine what your life would be if you faced your fears. Lastly, what do you need to give up by facing your fears? That was just a few of the questions you should answer when making the list. This will give you an overview of what you'll be missing out on if you continue living in fear. This should also serve as a form of motivation to help you with your fight towards overcoming your fear. Always remember, you will have tremendous personal growth if you face your fears, and you will have more opportunities in life which will lead you to the road to success. You also need to take a breather. As I mentioned earlier in the show, your body will often exhibit signs whenever you feel fearful of something. These include rapid heartbeat, oversweating, difficulty breathing, and so much more. If you are flooded with all these sensations, it's important for you just to take a breather. If you are able to give your public speech, your company presentation, exams, or even move to your new home, you need to take a break and put yourself back together. Taking on your fears without properly conditioning yourself will lead you to end up with unwanted results. These sensations will hinder you from making the right decision. Walk away for a couple of minutes, 15 minutes or so. It is a great time. Take some deep breaths, think of happy thoughts, and tell yourself that you can do it. Once you have pacified and completely calmed yourself down, you will be able to think logically and make the right decisions as to how you will take on the particular challenge, which is also greatly associated with your fear. You also need to expose yourself to your fear. Expose yourself to your deepest fear. After that, fear has no power and the fear of freedom shrinks and vanishes. You are free. Whenever you are afraid of something, your common response mechanism is to avoid it. We all do that. However, if you're serious about really overcoming this, then you have to really expose yourself to your fear. You can either do this on your own or get someone, a professional or a friend or some sort of support person to be there beside you. You also need to accept failures greatly. The greatest mistake you can make in life is to continually be afraid you will make one. The fear of failing is one of the most common fears among us all. There will be instances wherein the effects of failure can be extremely frustrating, if not totally devastating. However, in most instances, the effects aren't really that bad. When you look back on it and focus on what you actually learned from it, it really wasn't that bad, was it? The mere thought of failing prevents an individual from achieving great things in life, and this also makes an individual miss out on wonderful opportunities. Always remember that being too scared of doing something will just leave everybody else the chance of succeeding on the path that you want to take. This could have been you, but you were too scared to give it a go. In the end, you'll end up feeling sorry for yourself because you did not grab the chance. Although it is a fact that achieving something would require repeat tries, this means that you are bound to fail one way or another. Accept these failures and learn from them. Continue doing what you want and do not fear the possibility of failure. It's much better to try and fail than to not try at all. So you need to also find the source of your fear. An effective way of facing and overcoming your fear is by identifying its source. This will help you find the right method to overcome it. Regardless of what type of fear you have in your life, finding its real source is of utmost importance. By talking to a professional or through self-evaluation, you will be able to discover the real source of your fears. Is it even your fear? Have you taken on someone else's fear? The most important question which you need to answer is, why am I afraid? Finding the answer to this question will steer you to the right direction in terms of finding the origin of your greatest fears. However, you will not be able to do this within just one day. It's not going to come to you instantly. You have to spend some time on this, searching for the answers that you're looking for. Right now, after you've determined the source, you're ready to proceed to the next step, which is to find the solution. One good way of finding the right technique to use is to create a list of the possible methods which you could use. After doing so, you can put these methods into practice. You also need to trust yourself. Finding the courage to trust yourself even before you go through the venture of overcoming your fears. This is one really important element that you should not ever forget. It will help you get through the entire process, which you may find at times really difficult. I didn't say this was going to be easy, but it will be worth it. But if you believe in yourself and know that you can do it no matter what, remember anything is possible. Stop thinking that you can't do it or that you'll fail. Give yourself some credit. Believe in yourself and you will make it through. You will be able to conquer your fears and live a life which you've always dreamed of by being able to accept new opportunities along the way, which you probably previously feared not even being able to achieve. Those things that you feared the most, they will now just become everyday things. So we all have struggles in life, and these include fear. In truth, it is human nature to protect oneself from anything which is deemed as dangerous or unpleasant. Some may come in the form of heights, water, fire, change, insects, or even more. You may have fears during your childhood years which you've already outgrown, but there are those types of fears which you bring with you right through your adult life. These are the much harder ones you need to deal with. As we grow older, we've learned that we need to overcome fear. However, fear is also vital in a person's existence. It keeps us safe from harm. Then again, you have to recognise and identify the fear which you think is preventing you from being happy and successful. For example, some successful individuals achieve all the things in their lives because they fear failure. This makes them work harder to make sure that they succeed in everything they do. The unpleasant feeling of anxiety when you're in the brink of failing can help you strive harder to really achieve your goals. It is really important to face our fears. This is for the simple reason that some of your fears are the cause of living a mediocre life. These fears, though may seem very irrational for others, yet troubling on your end, can influence your ability to do certain things as well as achieve the things that you want to have. Knowing what your fears are is as important as finding the right methods to overcome them. For example, if you're scared of speaking in front of a crowd, you have to identify it if it is because of the people who will be listening to you, or if you simply lack the self-confidence to push this through. In many cases, the sources of your fears are past experiences, which made you go through a great deal of emotional or physical stress and pain. Determining your fears, which are controllable, and those which are beyond your abilities, is really important too. Furthermore, you will have to make sure yourself gets used to changing your point of view about the things or situations which may cause anxiety or fear on your part. This can't be achieved in just one day. You have to be patient and you have to be committed. Take small steps at a time, since this will help you progress towards your goal, which is to overcome your fear. All the methods shared in this show are simple steps which will help you towards conquering your fears. Do what you have to do if you wish to live a life wherein you know that you can handle your fears. Do not let anything hold you back in achieving success and self-improvement. If you are sick of not feeling productive, energetic, positive, feeling demotivated throughout the day and not accomplishing your goals in life, then you have to pay attention to what I'm about to share. You don't need another motivational speech to lift your spirit up. In fact, the real problem is not that you're not motivated. The real reason is that you are not being productive, energetic, positive, and not accomplishing your daily goals. It all lies in how you start your day. Want to know more? Then come and join me on the next episode of Thoughts, Actions, Success, where I will share with you how to start your day right, be more productive, energetic, and crush all your ultimate goals, just like many others, My morning used to be hectic, unplanned, and usually I woke up feeling grumpy, and it really affected me throughout the day. I'm super excited to share with you the strategies that I personally have used and learned from the world's top achievers and most productive people who are totally immune to this. Their secrets are the reason why I'm able to be more productive, energetic, positive, and have managed to achieve the successes I have yearned for. With these strategies, I can assure you that you too can achieve all the goals you set in life. No more feeling demotivated, lack of energy, losing focus, being unproductive, and having a bad day. The frustration can end. If you're wanting to finish 2021 in the best place possible, or maybe you just really want to get a head start on 2022, get rid of 2021. Wasn't that great anyhow for many of us. And are seriously considering working with a coach one-on-one? Don't wait till 2022. Start now. What are you waiting for? Come and book a free discovery call with me, and I can share with you how we can do this. Just drop me an email at kirsty@kirstyjohnson.com, or my other contact details are all on my website, and we can book in a time to get together to find a way for you to live the best of your life. I look forward to talking with you soon, and I will see you soon in the next show.